As the mayor of Detroit, completing a successful first term, then a hard-fought electoral victory, which granted you a second term, then the death threats came. The increased scrutiny of your personal finances, your personal life. Can you tell us a little bit about what you experienced during that time?
One of the things that I see with the president is a lot of the attacks on the president are masked in attacks about policy, but they really don't like him. They're really attacks on him, who he is as a person, how he looks. You know, I live in Texas now, and I was listening to a group of people talk in a locker room after playing golf one day, and it was a group of white men, and they just said they don't like him. He's too arrogant. I can't stand him. And I used to hear those comments every single day. I don't like him. He's arrogant. There was never a lot of attacks on my work. We were building more parks than ever built in the city, building more rec centers, fixing more streets. We had national events, Super Bowl, All-Star Game, Final Four. We built 7 hotels. City hadn't built a hotel in 20-something years. We built 5 hotels in the first term, and 2 more after that. So, I mean, the riverfront, which has been a dream in the city for 30 years, we did it in 4. So it was never really an attack on my work. It was who I was. We don't like him. We don't like the way he dresses. We don't like the way he looks. He's arrogant. And so what that brought and bred was a theater of hatred. You know, Michigan is a very, very racially separated city. The city of Detroit itself is 84% African American. The surrounding suburbs are 86% white. And, you know, race riots in 1940s, race riots in 1960s. Detroit really never healed from that. And so you stoke that and you start getting the Michigan militias and all of those different things you hear about as far as the race problems. And so, yeah, we started receiving threats. You know, we're going to kill your wife. We're going to kill your kids. Getting phone calls from phone booths, you know, a mile from my house. We're on our way to kill his kids. You know, and they use, of course, I'm not using the terms that are used, but
we can imagine.
Yeah, you can imagine. And so, you know, you start getting those. And then during the election was hard fought, not because of the work, but people not liking me or, you know, really proffering this position that this guy is a bad guy, you shouldn't like him. And that is what we had to fight every single day. And it got a little hairy, but, you know, I was never fearful or scared of that at all. You know, I knew God had me, and my wife and my children knew it as well. So we just marched. We restored hope in the city of Detroit that we could be something better than this degraded, deteriorating city. That we can have new stuff, new opportunities, new businesses, new events. That we could build new housing. You know, people started to believe. And more than anything exterior, I think the internal spirit of the city of Detroit started to wake up. That hope, that drive, that we could play big, you know, that we could be big time again. And more than anything else, you know, where the world was using Detroit as the butt of their jokes, we said that we were reintroducing Detroit to the world. And I think that was more important than any of the parks and the streets and the rec centers and the buildings and the companies. I mean, those things are important because they were elements that added to the hope. But I believe the same reason that I say it was successful is the same reason I feel so guilty about the loss of hope right now and what the city is going through now.
The media in Detroit, then and even continuing to this day, seems almost to have a vendetta against you. The desire to paint you in a certain light and to expose all the so-called hidden secrets and experiences that you have gone through over these past couple of years.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I don't think there's been any mayor in America. As a matter of fact, Coleman Young, I think, received an incredible amount of scrutiny, and he was kind of the poster child for that in Detroit. The first black mayor really expressed his manhood in a different way that had been seen really from African American men that was, you know, accepted across the country. But I don't think there's been any mayor scrutinized like I was in that time. Every day, day in, day out. It was tough. It was tough, you know, to do the job under that kind of scrutiny. But then afterwards, there's definitely been a campaign. There was a campaign there, a very aggressive, overt campaign. They didn't even hide it. They were against me. And now it's turned to something else. It's like, you know, he didn't die. He wasn't destroyed. You know, we did everything we possibly could. And, you know, he's still standing. He's still married. He's still happy. He's still blessed. And I think that has been a real issue for a lot of people. And unfortunately, there are people who fall victim or being overly susceptible to being used by them to do whatever they want them to do. In Detroit, because of that loss of hope I talked about, the press run the town. They're the leaders of the town. The leadership of the community doesn't make a move if they think the press won't like it. And so the commentators now are running the town, and they can never understand or even you know, have that kind of responsibility and use it in a gainfully positive way. And so it's bad. You know, now they even, you know, I'm not the mayor. I've been gone for a year, and they come to Texas, film my house. They legally subpoenaed my private banking records, that of my wife. They filmed my kids' school. They filmed them at their football games, so everybody know. They put my address where I live in the paper. They've done some tremendous things. They've conspired. They've consorted with people. I mean, that's well known. You know, to gain information that they didn't have access to. It's really been an incredible ride. I really have been praying about what is this all about. But you know, that aggressive campaign against me has also made me better. It's made me more enlightened. It's made me stronger. It's also strengthened the relationship with my wife, with my children. They're stronger because of it. And so I can't say it's been all bad, you know. I know in the Christian church, the old ladies used to say, what the devil meant for bad, God meant for good. And so you know, some of the things that I think they went out and tried to be detrimental to my life saved me in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, there's been an aggressive, evil spirited campaign, but you know, we still stand.
As it relates to Miss Christine Beatty, do you have contact? Do you all talk? Is there what is it?
You know, I simply say that I have talked to her since all of this stuff has happened. You know, I try to, you know, make sure that she understands that I still care about her very deeply. You know, I simply back up and say first that a lot of times when women get caught in a situation like that, they're perceived as a whore, or they're, you know, sorry, and you know, I just think that is so unfair. You know, it takes two to tango, they say, but I think even other than that, you know, she's a very good person. She's incredibly brilliant, you know, 4.0 student, masters, and we made some bad decisions, and we are living with the consequences of those decisions. But I respect her tremendously and love her and wish her the best. That has been an incredible situation of somebody that's been in your life since 9th grade. You know, this is my friend. This wasn't a person that just showed up, 9th grade, and now out of your life and having her own. And you have to really figure out how to move forward with your wife and children. So I wish her the best. You know, I have, you know, tried to keep tabs and make sure that she's doing all right. But as far as the kind of interaction we had, we would never really have again.
After going through all this, the highest of the highs, the lowest of the lows, looking back, what did you learn?
Several things.